Hi there, and welcome to another episode here on Bustthenet. Yes, this is the show I like to call Gamechanger. It's my chance to delve into one of your saves and offer some insights. And usually I get all kinds of saves. And this time around, we're traveling to the championship with Swindon Town. If I'm not mistaken, they're newly promoted because last season they were in League One. They finished as champions. So this is their first season in the championship, doing pretty well. 17th on the table, but consistency hasn't been their hallmark this season. So I've received the save, and he's asked me to take a look at it. All right, so we're gonna start from the beginning. And first up, very quickly, when you go to team report, this is like the Abe Lincoln method: positives and negatives. As you can see, there's a lot of alarming information here. Here we have a lot of the goals that they have conceded come from inside the penalty area. Now, this I like to get this kind of information because then I don't have to go into depth by analyzing every single game. This is a very large number because this is literally almost half, right, of all your goals coming from inside the box. So this is something that you have to address. Then your number of goals that you've scored as well. You concede a lot of goals inside the box, and you don't really score a lot of goals. So you've got two big weaknesses. One is you give up a lot of goals inside the box, and you're also very vulnerable to crosses. So these are two things that are an issue for the team. Now, there are some little good things here and there, but let's take a look at where you sit at the table. At the moment, you're 17th on the table. You've lost 12 games this season, and one thing that I do, I'm assuming, because I don't know how much of this tactic you've changed, but if you go to the goals and you look at goal assists, the assist locations, this will tell you a lot of information. This is something that you have to address. 25 inside your box. This is a very bad number. So we want to fix this as quickly as we can. Now, going forward as well, this is a low number from the flanks inside the box. Most of the assists that you have, basically the goals that you've created come from crosses and through balls, but the number isn't very large. It's a ratio to what the opposition are creating. 23 goals from crosses. This is the brightest red line I've ever seen in my life. Okay, so this is something that we have to deal with. Okay, let's take a look at the team report. Then we look at the squad depth. Now, very quickly, you can adjust this in any way you want, but I'd rather look at current ability here, who can play in the team, and then we go through our squad. Now, one thing most people might not realize is the fact that you can actually do scouting from here as well if you find that these players are not good enough. But this is another way to look at attributes really quickly. Defending on the right flank. Generally positioning of 12 and positioning of 11. Now, if you guys haven't don't know this already, I'll just run through this very quickly. Defenders, if you're looking, one thing I like to look at is their positioning. Now, your positioning of your defenders is the lowest in the league. Now, when your positioning of your defenders is really bad, then there are two ways you can approach the game. One is you can forget about trying to defend, right? You just go and attack. Just throw everything into attack and hope for the best. Then you'll score as many as you concede, and you become the second coming of Kevin Keegan. The other thing that you can do is, well, yes, you can put as many players back as possible, and then try and hit teams on the break. Then you try and worry about getting results first. The results that you should be aiming for are draws, and here the positioning is very, very low. Now, what do you compare this number to? You don't compare it to positioning of other players. You compare this to the off-the-ball running of midfielders and strikers, because these are the ones that are gonna create problems for your defenders. The off-the-ball, the best in the line is 13.29. So this is something here. Your 11 for positioning, people are going to run rings around them. The other thing that we want to know is for the defenders as well, because I'm only focusing on the defenders here, because we want to, when you have a bad run of results, the first thing you want to do is stem the tide, right? So you want to plug the hole. So in defenders, we are looking at jumping reach. 11, not very good in the air. 14 is the best. Ouch. This is I will strikers jumping reach is 14 in the land. Okay, so you got things to that's things that we have to worry about. Now, the one thing about me, my nature of the way I play the game is this. I will always sign a whenever I'm in lower league football, I'm more likely to sign a central defender that's only good in the air. One at least, so they can help to deal with crosses. All right, let's look at your results last couple of games. Now, here you can see we started the season off, been struggling quite a fair bit to create chances, and draws are not also a premium. So let's one thing I'll do, I'll go to analysis. I'll only zoom in on two things in this kind of games. I will only look at shots off target, shots saved, and shots blocked. I forget about the kinds of whether you scored goals or not. Here, I'm looking at where all your shots are coming from. So a lot of them are coming from outside the box and they're blocked. There's only one half decent chance inside the box, and this was saved by the keeper. And I will go through all these highlights. I will pick highlights. I will rule off corners, throw-ins, and set pieces, right? Because these are set pieces. I want to try and increase the number of chances inside the box coming from open play. So this is something that we want to do. And in this match alone, we don't have any. Then we go to the next match, which is I think this is the FA Cup, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, then we come in here again. Same thing. Now we're looking at Swindon. All right, we can check this one off. There's nothing happening over here. And then we come to Cardiff. Same thing again. Once you choose this is the formation that you are playing against, 4-4-2. We'll deal with the formation later. And then we look at the analysis. Swindon again. Now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 short chances inside the box. Let's take a look at each one of them. Again, it's a corner. So corners, I mean, once you start working on things, then corners, set pieces, you start worrying about them less, or they just don't figure. I mean, I'm not saying set pieces are not important. They are, but what we want to do is create more chances from open play, so that when set pieces do work, we have more time to fine tune our set pieces. Right now, what we want to do is make sure that we don't concede so many from set pieces, and that means putting the right players in the right positions. This is an open play move. Again, not too fantastic. Okay, so we've seen you don't create a lot of good chances inside the box. Now, let's look at the highlights of one game in particular, just to find out how you played. So in this analysis, we'll go to pitch and we'll just watch some key highlights. I want to look out for things like movement on and off the ball. Again, don't really care about the tactic. I'm just looking at the positions you've taken. Okay, this is interesting. And Swindon's formation, you were using this. All right, so the ball goes forward. You try to move the ball out from defense. McDermott gets up. Okay, so this is your striker, and we're looking to see whether he gets enough support. He gets enough support. Jarvis with the ball. Okay, here we have one wing back. They're isolated. So Jarvis is on his own. He's got 3 players going this way. There's no support for Jarvis. Jarvis is a turnaround. And by the time he plays this pass back, the team is going to be defending. So, in terms of a forward move, he's going to break down. And then you got 1, 2, 3, 4 in a bad position, and you leave yourself open to the counter attack. I think you're using a halfback here, which is fine. But what we want to do is we want to see if your team can defend. As you can see, when the ball moves to this area, McDermott doesn't really do much of a challenge. They go inside, and they're able to work themselves into a scoring position around here. This does suggest that we need to look at certain things. Now, this set piece that was scored was fairly straightforward. The ball came, they were able to hit it down to another player. So near post flick on, you got to get the best jumper there. And it doesn't look like that's the case with your tactic. The ball is cleared by your keeper in a hurry. Your keeper is just kicked the ball away, and that was terrible. we want to work on decision making and how you distribute the ball from the back, because that last goal that happened shouldn't have happened. The keeper just gave the ball away. Again, a desperate clearance from the back because he's under pressure. The AI is doing a high block on you. I don't know if you realize that, but this is a high block. You can see this forces a clearance, and your players can't get to the ball. It's back again, and your boys are under pressure. So it's certain things I notice. Some people don't seem to realize it, but I always recommend that people start playing the game on different blocks, low, medium, and high, so that you can see when the AI is doing the same thing to you. So here you've built the play around Kolke and Banks. Banks gets the ball. Okay, now what options does Banks have? He can pass the ball here, but honestly, then he'll have to pass the ball back. So then if you want to play a system like this, then these three, there's supposed to be a third player here. 1, 2, 3. These three players have to have very good first touch passing decision off the ball. Now Banks plays the ball to Jarvis, which is good. Then he plays it to Dunn, to Banks. Banks holds the ball up. Now what options does he have? He has Koke. Now if this is the case, and you find this happening a lot, then this player becomes a very important outlet for your team. And you definitely, as you can see, if he passes the ball back to Koke, and Koke has got risky passes on and good passing vision, then he will definitely be able to release 18 and 19. So as the ball is played out, so you can see he doesn't go to Koke. Now this is interesting because we want to try and improve that. Preston plays the ball back to Charles Cook. Again, keeper, you're playing as a sweeper keeper, that's fine, but here the ball goes back to the opposition again. Preston. Now when you play with a halfback, you can't afford to play it short to your own players. Then your backline takes care of the ball distribution as well. So Key gets to the ball. Now Key, when he gets the ball, what kind of passing options does he have? Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 5 players here. You've got Key who has to play the ball back to 8. And then again, if he goes to Koke, then Koke has options. Jarvis to Dunn to Key. Key runs. This is good football, but he runs into a trap straight away. So here again, we want to look at off the ball decisions and why they aren't playing the ball back to 17. Okay, I think I've seen enough of these highlights to suggest 2 things. One, your team hasn't got a very good defensive record. Now it's fine to, if you wanted to play with a system like this, then you have to think about getting enough players back into defense. McDermott inside the box. You've got a very attacking right wing. You might want to hold this wing back so that you have extra players at the back. Yeah, we have to work on improving your transitions. Okay, so Preston, they play the ball forward again. There's a lot of hoofing at the back. Now we can see that the building up of play isn't something that's happening with your team. All right, I'm looking at all your tactics at the moment, and I don't see. Okay, counter. We've got a halfback here. This system isn't too bad. I like halfbacks because they give you a few options. And we've got another halfback. So there are 3 tactics here, and all of them look the same. I'm going to just focus on one. Now we've got 2 wing backs here. Your team has been conceding a lot of balls inside the box. I would suggest that you think about playing with just one attacking wing back. And here we've got a halfback, more direct, more risky. He's given shoot less, mark tighter, pass it shorter. This is a slight problem for you. Okay, you've got the ball moving up, an AP dropping deep, and a wing back on support who might overlap, and this guy punching through the middle. So what does this tell you? This entire flank here is going to be open. So the question is, you might have to change the way you play because of the fact that you cannot work the ball up well enough, because when you do, your team keeps losing possession of the ball. All right, so we have Cole Clough here, who's only 11 as a winger on attack. If you want to have a winger on attack punching through the space, because this tactic will utilize this guy to create a lot of chances, then he absolutely needs very good acceleration to break past defensive lines. So when I'm looking at the tactic itself and I'm looking at your midfielders and attacking midfielders, I'm looking at acceleration. This is you have only one player here who has got acceleration of 14, and it's a player that I don't think you've used this entire season. Yeah, you've used him a few times, 14 matches, but he can't cross the ball. You got Jordan Young, again, not good enough. We got Dolan McDermott, 13. He might be okay. Yeah. All right, we have to change the tactic around slightly. Dolan McDermott will play in that position because he at least has 13 acceleration. Then we got this Dennis Sherby. Well, okay. He's on loan, only 12. His first touch is 10. So he takes the ball down, balance is off. He might get away. Not all the time because his dribbling is only 10. So one-on-one, he's not going to get away from players all the time. He's a okay player. I might just put him as a striker. Ryan Goldclough, 11, so. You can only do so much with players. You can't perform magic with them if they don't have the attributes. You are playing a low block, but you can't play a low block because your defenders don't have good jumping reach. The league average is about 15 they have to beat. Your central defenders only have 13. So they're not very strong in the air. Second problem you have is you're playing with a three-man midfield, so you have to expect all three midfielders to be able to tackle the ball, win the ball, and redistribute. I'm not suggesting they become fantastic with the ball, but they all will need good positioning. And your central midfielders here, positioning is a premium at the moment for your team, for your central midfielders. So we have that problem now because we don't have central midfielders who can recycle possession in midfield. They're not in the right position to win the ball, and that's going to be a problem. So you're going to have a lot of pressure on your back line. You are playing with a low block, and what this means is you don't have central midfielders who can win the ball, and you're playing with a low block where you have central defenders who can't win the ball in the air. So you're kind of giving the AI lots of goal scoring opportunities. You can't win the ball back, and yeah, it's a bad move. So you need to fix this. So when I went to your scouting, and first thing I would check shortlist. You've got a very empty shortlist. Maybe this is intentional, but I would suggest that you got senior, no package. It's fine, but you got a transfer budget of 756k. I don't know if you're planning to use that amount, but you're coming to the end of the season. First things first, let's go to the transfer budget. Let's go to this and let's move this up and give our squad a rich scouting budget of 259,000. First up, we fix that problem. Second thing you want to do is you go to your players shortlist. You've got players that you can go out there and get. Let's look at your central defenders. Clear all this up. All right. What is your biggest problem that you have? You got nobody who can win the ball in the air. Jumping reach. Let's go 16. Let's add a condition. Value. We want it to be 0. And voila, we have players. We got Ben Nugent, who's available. I don't care how old is he. His jumping reach is 16. Okay, that's it. I don't have to look at anything else. This is what I do. Transfer. Offer him a contract. Yeah, approach to sign. Finalize promises. Exit. That's it. Ben Nugent, you're coming to a club. And then you've got another central defender here. Charlie Rowan, 12 to 16. Stephen Arthurbury, 17. Just go out there and scout these players. Okay, or invite them to trials. Right, they're all available. Get them into your club, and then add them to your shortlist so you can start tracking these players. Right, so take all these players, add them to your shortlist indefinitely. So they're all on your shortlist now. Now do the same thing with your central midfielders, but here you don't want jumping reach. You want the attribute. You want the attribute or positioning. Yes. Okay, so you got positioning. You want them to be at least. Let's go for 12. Once again, invite them for trials and offer them. In certain cases, I know some of these players. Craig Gardner, he can definitely play for you, right? He's not bad. I mean, he's 33 years old. definitely he can join your team. Darren Potter, he's not bad as well. He can join your team. David Jones, and you need to get players in your midfield that can do that. And basically, you definitely need a stronger midfield. So there's only so much that you can do with this team. Okay, so we've gone out there, we fixed all this, and then what else can we do? We are definitely going to concede a lot of goals from set pieces. We don't have enough players with jumping reach who can get into the box. Our tactic so far: distribute to centre back, short kick, sit narrower. All right, and close down less. We're gonna ask him to close down less too. We're kind of in deep trouble at the moment. Close down more risky passes. Maybe I'll just remove this, move into chance to remove. We're just gonna ask him to keep things simple. We're gonna change this guy, ask him to close down more. We're gonna try and keep the ball a bit more effectively. This player will ask him to take more risky passes. This guy is gonna drop deeper. We're gonna ask him to close down more, map tighter, tackle harder. This guy is going to be mark tighter, tackle, and we want him to tackle harder. And we've got this strike. We can play him as a poacher or a deep line forward on support. What in the former, if we play him as a poacher, then it's good against an attacking team. If you play as a deep line or forward and support, then maybe you have a chance of, at least him dropping deep and this guy attacking space. So we're going to use Shabani here. We've got another midfielder here. I think you got Charlie Koke who play here. Charlie Koke will play here. So this is, at the moment, your team. Your team cannot play any other version of this tactic except for a high block. Right, so you got to control and structure, and you're gonna play with a higher defensive line, work ball into box, and let's play fairly narrow and get these players to stay closer to the midfielder so that they can give them support. Right, so we're gonna ask them to sit narrow and try and tuck inside so they can give our midfielders support. And all we're going to do is try and make ourselves harder to defend, harder to play against. And when we do get the ball, we're just going to hurl it into this area here, which means that we are exploiting the left lane. Okay, that's it. It's a very simple setup. There's no rocket science to this. And the sad part about this is, if this is the way we're going to be playing, that's the only way we're going to try and play. You can't play a low block, so you're going to have different versions of different high block tactics. 4-1-3-2, you're definitely going to be playing with maybe another version of this tactic that you can play is a 4-1-4-1. You can play a 4-4-2. But you cannot play narrow systems because then you'll be inviting crosses. So you can't play a 4-1-3-2. You can't play any system without wingbacks or wingers. You're going to ask for trouble. So these are the systems that you can play. And you need to go out there and sign a few more players. Before we go into the match, remember we need to have midfielders who can tackle. And we basically have to perform dual roles in midfield. So what do we have? Positioning. Ollie Banks is your main goal scorer at the moment. I have to carry this player. He's got bravery of 2, so sorry. Thanks for his 7 goals, but it's not in my system. He wouldn't be playing anymore. All right, so who else can we play here? We got to find a player who can play in this positioning, who has got some positioning off the ball and tackling. Okay, we got Chris Hussey. So Chris Hussey, welcome to midfield. The first game that I played, the first game I was in charge of was the match against Blackburn Rovers. We're playing away from home here. With the support duties we have in midfield, it makes it a lot easier for us to keep the ball and work it through our transitions. Remember that now I've told the wingbacks to play on a narrower setting, so they are going to help your midfielders through the transitions. And this is going to be a huge bonus for a team that doesn't have a lot of technical ability at the moment. And we created our first goal in this match through some good play, support coming from the wingback. Here you can see Love and see how narrow he is. He gets up to provide support for the strikers, and we get our first goal. The other thing that I would suggest you do is when you're attacking set piece routines, I notice when we take a 1-goal lead, it's pretty hard for us to defend that lead. So I would recommend a 3+1 or a 3 3 plus 2. Essentially, this means you have 3 staying back and 2 or 1 sitting at the edge of the box. This would be very good for you when when you want to defend a lead. Essentially, you have more players back. Here, I have to say, defensively, I did a slight tweak to your set piece routines, putting a stronger player to win the balls at the near post. We were able to hit back and score another goal off a counter. Final score in this match, 2-1. Our second match was always going to be harder, playing against Birmingham, 6 on the table, a match that I was not very optimistic about. But if you have set your players up to provide enough support through transitions, you should be able to do okay. The whole goal here for us was to stay defensively rigid and not provide many goal scoring opportunities for the opposition. The defensive fullback, the role itself is just going to hoof the ball up, but if you have enough players in support, you will see transitions like this. It's pretty hard for the other team to get the ball off you because your wing backs are sitting narrower. They're providing support to midfield, and you can move the ball through the transitions into nice goal scoring opportunities like this one, which happened very early in the 7th minute. Good to see one of your strikers starting to score some goals. Whenever I am building a tactic, I'm looking at transitions. Here I see 4 players in nice positions in case we lose the ball in midfield. I've got DFB and 3 other players who can cover the left flank. Naturally, on the right flank, we've got plenty of players in support so that we can move the ball through the transitions. They knock the ball back and our players pick up the pieces, and you can see the options that the player has to pass the ball. Now, again, there are not too many players running off in attack, so he has passing options. They can work the ball up and back to the DLF on support, who then he has 3 more passing options he can take if he needs to. This is ideal, and I always want to see it finishing off with what I call a midfield penetration move, and this is going to happen in the next pass when your striker plays it out to the winger. The winger now has a chance to provide an assist inside the box. It's exactly what we need from our tactic. Your side cannot play a low block. It's too risky a maneuver, and with the number of players you have in support, there is a strong call for you to play with a medium to a high block. If the opposition can't clear the ball, you have enough players in support so that you can put pressure on them to score goals and create good goal scoring opportunities for yourself. Either way, you're just going to keep pressure off your defense, which is something I recommend you do. Stop playing the low block. Your striker eventually got himself another goal from the penalty spot. Final score 3-0. Swindon Town beating Birmingham in a shock upset, which sends them further up the table. At least I would say that your side has a very strong chance of doing a bit better as long as you stop playing the low block. And I hope that these little tips on this episode of Gamechanger helps you. If you have any questions, you know to find me on Twitter at Bustthenet or addicted2fm.com, my website. Once again, I like to thank all my patrons for their continued support of this channel. You make these kind of shows possible for the rest of the community. You guys take care, have a good one, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.